All right, everybody. So let's get started. It's nice to see everybody back. I had a training last week, so I didn't get to see you all. It's been a week since I've seen all your faces together because of training and professional development meetings last week. So it's great to see everybody back. Here is the agenda for today. As you can see, we're going over our homework towards the end of chapter 3 and then getting ready for the banking workshop. My background is themed towards the upcoming banking workshop as well. I'm going to leave my slides in the agenda and then go directly. So here I am leaving my slides and go directly to our Google Classroom page. Here we are. All right, so there it is. So this was the previous homework due March 28th, and I'm looking here. I believe just about everybody here has turned that in. Fantastic. So everybody's getting the real thumbs up. I'm not giving you the thumbs up emoji. I'm giving you the real thing. But still, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the homework and share. So after we all read the James Cameron interview, there were some exercises on page 79 and 80. 80 involved note-taking. So what I'm doing now is I'm switching from this camera to the document camera. And it is time to take a look at that textbook. So everybody, please open your textbooks up to page 79. There it is. Now we're looking at my document camera. I'll stop my screen share as well. Okay. So exercises on page 79 regarding the James Cameron interview where we finished last week. Okay. So we have a few phrases and some vocabulary words right here to help everybody out. To move in a context of that, it means to make someone or something move by pressing with your hands, arms, shoulders, help push the car into the garage. Try to get past SB, to use your hands, arms, shoulders, etc. to make someone move, especially so that you can get past them. And the directions here say, read the dictionary entry for the verb push. This is a sample dictionary entry. So in terms of the word definitions, the word push has all of these different definitions. So right here it says, now read each sentence, decide which meaning of push is being used. Write the number of the appropriate definition. And the first one is done for you. So in A, James Cameron pushed the capacities of CGI in Avatar. Does everybody remember the acronym CGI from last week? Who could tell me what
I don't remember, teacher. CGI.
No problem. Take a look. Yeah.
Computer generated imaging.
Yes, perfect, yeah. Perla. Computer generated images. Excellent. Imagery. Yeah. And that was for making movies. So and the example I gave was, like say in an action movie, if a car blows up in a movie made in say the 1990s, you might actually have a car blowing up. Let's say a Marvel movie made in the past 5 years, you'll see CGI. So computers generating images of explosions and great big things happening. So B, let's see what the best working definition for this is. In her essay, Susan Sontag tried to push, this was the Sontag essay, tried to push young people into learning more about the history of cinema. Who would like to give their answer for this? Which one works better?
Is number 3, teacher, encourage, persuade.
Encourage and persuade.
Persuade.
You're right. And would anybody like a trick to see how to check? Watch this. To encourage and persuade, use the word encourage in the sentence instead of push and see if it makes sense. Glaucian, read the sentence and instead of push, put the word encourage.
Okay. In her essay, Susan Sontag tried to encourage young people into learning more about the history of cinema.
There we go. Now, after reading that whole sentence, does it have the same overall meaning?
I think yes.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, it does. It does. If you treat it like, that's a trick. If you treat the word like a synonym, it does it, it works. Okay, encourage, persuade, push, push into. In that case, yes, that's absolutely right. So number 3 is correct. Good job, Glaucian. Okay, C, who would like to take this third one here? Any volunteer? Marie.
The studio is pushing this film a science fiction, but it's really a horror movie.
Very
Number
good.
5. Number 5.
5. And you're absolutely right. Advertise. Advertise. And that's, we can do the same trick. To check, Marie, replace pushing with advertise or advertising.
The studio is advertising the film as
Perfect.
science fiction, but it's really a horror movie.
Perfect. Excellent. And it works. It has the exact same meaning. Beautiful. All right. Who would like to do the fourth one down here, D?
I can go, teacher.
Go for it, Alessi.
I'm not sure about this number D and this letter D and F, but I'll try.
No worries.
Okay. Star Wars was the highest grossing
Mm-hmm. Grossing, yeah.
movie until Titanic pushed ahead of the competition.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I think it's number 2.
To get past.
Get
That is
past.
correct. Right.
Okay.
So grossing, who knows what the word grossing means? It doesn't mean something is disgusting in this context. It means it's about money.
Yeah. Something more expensive.
Expensive how? Expenses, more expensive to make the movie or more expensive?
Yes.
Or they are not exactly. Think about the other end. Think about the other end.
It was more known, famous.
Well, if we're thinking of a business, expenses, what's this word right here?
Increase.
Profit.
Right.
For increase.
Expenses and profit. What's the difference between these two?
Expenses is what you expend.
Yeah,
to make,
absolutely
and
right.
profit is what you get from the movie.
Exactly. So I don't have the numbers, but let's say if it cost $3 million to make the movie, and the movie gains $5 million, then they have a significant profit. That's the grossing is the total amount of money the movie is generating, pulling in. So Star Wars was the highest grossing movie until Titanic pushed ahead of the competition. So Titanic pushed ahead and that this fragment of the sentence is exactly 2. So you're absolutely right. But that's what grossing is. It means, the amount of money it's bringing in.
Something you
And-
earn.
Right. Earn. Now, it's not the margins of the subtracting expenses from profit. That's a little bit different, but grossing means how much it's actually bringing in, generating money. Who wants this number 5 here? Tolstoy, Felt. Let's hear from Cleo Man. You want to give it a shot? It's okay, you don't have to. Fride, you want to? You want to try?
Yes. Number E is like a Tolstoy feel that film will push writers to write in a more modern and exciting way.
Very nice.
I think it's repeat the 3.
Let's take a look. I'm gonna bring my camera back up. So move
Okay.
writers to write in a more modern way. Try to get past writers, encourage writers, increase writers, advertise writers. And Fride, you're absolutely right. 3 again. It would encourage writers to write in a more modern and exciting way. Absolutely.
Can
Good
I
job.
the next?
You want to do the next one as well?
Yes, I try.
Well, let me just ask, does anybody else want to try? Okay, go for it, Fride.
Okay. In the second film, the Terminator pushed the evil cyborg into a bath of acid.
Acid, that's right, into a vat
Yes.
of acid. Yes, he
I
did.
think it's number 1.
Yes, physically push. That's right. That's the physical push. That's absolutely right. Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
Now, this next one right here, it said, using your notes in the organizer, complete the short summary of the interview with James Cameron. What I'd like to do here is I'm going to send everyone into breakout rooms to share what they wrote. I saw what everybody turned in, but rather than me, myself, putting anyone on the spot publicly, I'd like to break everyone into smaller groups of 3 to share what they wrote. But before we go into these breakout rooms, I want to clarify what this exercise, I'm going to put a star here. What is it that the textbook here is asking you to do? Using your notes in the organizer, complete this short summary of the interview with James Cameron. So short summary. What's a short summary?
Resume.
Not a resume.
It's
Nope.
a little paragraph? No.
Well, let's go back to this interview with James Cameron. We read this together. What were some of the
It's
points
like
that
a
he,
conclusion. It's conclusion.
well, not a
Wow.
conclusion exactly.
Teacher, I think it's
Mhm.
the most important aspect in the interview.
You got it. Most important points of the interview. Exactly. So off from your notes, let's say if you were present during this interview, you're sitting in a university lecture hall listening to this famous director talk. What were some of his points about his career in film? Let's just list a few of the points. I'm going to write them down here in the margin, just next to his picture. What were some of the points that he made?
The first point is the is the cost of the movie.
What about the cost of movie?
Um, the selling movie.
Okay. Did he say he wanted to, does he say he focused on the marketing, the financial?
Yes.
He
No.
did? No.
No.
Marie, what was his point about instead of financial, let's use that vocabulary word. It starts with an F, F-I-S.
Fiscal.
Fiscal, very good, Marie. Yeah, he makes an argument, and the first thing he says is, when you make a movie, how involved you are in the fiscal aspect and the marketing. That was the question. And what did he say? Does he like to be involved in the fiscal aspects of the movie or no?
No.
Right. So fiscal, in terms of the fiscal aspects of the movie, he just thinks about telling the story. What's going to make the movie better? How much it costs, that's somebody else's job. He leaves that to the business people. He's the creative guy. So that would be one point. How would you put that into your notes? How would you summarize James Cameron's point when he answers the first question in your own words?
My job is to make the movie and make is an excellent film.
Those are his words, Tavares. How would you say it in your words?
In my words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it means. That's note taking.
Can I try?
Sure, Leslie, go for it.
I would say Cameron, it's focused on making movies, which is what he knows best, and he leaves let me see, the selling part to people that knows how to do it well.
Yeah. Exactly. You could say his job is not to sell the movie, or he leaves the business to the business people.
Okay.
And good job. Now, if I were to go back to page 80, that would be something I would write right here, exactly the way Alessi, if I'm Alessi and I'm making my notes, I would say exactly what she said right here. James Cameron does not focus on the business aspect of filmmaking, whatever she wants to say. And that's an example of a short summary. So does everybody get the idea of summarizing? You're using your own words to take the most important points from the text. Let's find a few more of his points here. What was another point that he made? It was a long interview. He talked about Avatar. He talked about Titanic. He talked about earlier movies. Who could bring in another point? What about on the second page here, page 76? He uses the word consensus. I had thousands and thousands of drawings, lots and lots of ideas. So I just worked it all up into one big story. But the consensus was that the idea of doing a photorealistic expressive characters in CGI was not possible at the time. So I thought, all right, guys, I'm giving you a fair warning. I'm going to make Titanic. When I come back, let's talk again. So in the 1990s, CGI was very new, but he really, really wanted to make the movie Titanic. The word consensus is, did he only listen to himself or did he also listen to other people?
Everybody knows the same way. Think the same.
Well, everyone's not thinking the same, but everyone's contributing. Everyone's sharing their ideas. So he's got this idea to make the movie Titanic, but not everyone's sure it's going to be possible. So he's using early CGI. Early CGI. How many people have seen the movie Titanic? So when the ship actually
Me.
goes down, right? So when the ship actually goes down, did they have a real ship sinking into the middle of the ocean, or did they use CGI?
Computer
The-
imaging.
Exactly, Handy. Yeah. So that was one of the earlier CGI movies. So in the 90s, CGI was pretty new in terms of a feature film. So he wanted a photorealistic movie, a movie that looks like it's made out of, it's like it's capturing historical photos. Could this be done? People said, nah, maybe, maybe not. He was determined to have it done. So how would you put some notes in there? Does James Cameron only act alone, or does he get a consensus from other people in the business?
Can I read what I did?
Absolutely, yes.
He finds the ideas by pushing the art of computer-generated imagery, character, and working up all his drawing into a big story.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's a great summary. Nice job. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to put everyone into smaller groups, and I would like you to compare what you wrote in the short summary. So, oh, here comes Natalia. So the short summary is just writing from the notes. What did James Cameron talk about? He talked about the creative process of making movies, the financial aspect of making movies, choosing stories. Most of his movies are fiction, but they're inspired by real life. Even Titanic, the story of the Titanic is real, but the characters are fictional. The movie Avatar had a lot of similarities to real life wars, conflicts about natural resources, things like that. So how would you make a short summary of the James Cameron interview? And for this, I'd like everybody to open up to page 80, and then in small breakout rooms, share with one another what you wrote. And if you didn't finish, don't worry. Don't worry. You can get inspiration from your classmates. Everybody ready?
Yes, you can.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So share your notes, what you wrote on page 80. Here we go. Breakout room time. I want to make 3 breakout rooms. All right, everybody, I stopped recording briefly, and I'm resuming my recording now. And I'm also going back to my slides. So what I'd like to do here is go over some vocabulary. And I see it's set up with a board to play the Typhoon vocabulary game. We're not going to do that today. But what I would like to do is take a look at some of the vocabulary from chapter 3. Everybody take a minute and look on the screen. Identify a few words that you might not be familiar with. And we can take a look at each page to see how that is used in context. I underline the word irreversible. Who could identify that? What is irreversible?
Something that don't can be changed at the same at the past.
Right. Yeah. Unchangeable. Yeah. Exactly. And if let's see, where was the word irreversible used? That was, oh yes, that was in the beginning. The interview with, I'll tell you where irreversible was used. That is, yes, that's page 58, the first reading of the chapter. Susan Sontag's article. Cinema's history seems to have the shape of a life cycle, a birth, a steady accumulation of glories, and then an irreversible decline. What about blending. What is blending?
It's mixed.
Let's I'll tell everybody what page. It's on page 68. The Tolstoy interview.
Blending is when you mixture something.
Yes, and that's what Glossin was saying as well, mixing. And in context paragraph 2 on page 68, but I rather like it, this swift change of scene, this blending of emotion and experience from the Tolstoy interview. Nice. All right. We just talked about the word fiscal. What about dazzling? What is the word dazzling?
It's something that it's awesome, amazing.
Exactly. Awesome, amazing. Can't find where that was used right now. I'll go over one last vocab word here. Let's look at, oh, I didn't put many vocab words from the last one in there. Parameters, that's on page 75. What are parameters? Page 75.
What page station?
75, the James Cameron interview. Page 75, paragraph 4.
Limitations?
Yes, exactly, Marie. Very good. So limitations, guidelines, the parameters. Exactly. The rules, you might say. Beautiful. So everybody, as we're wrapping up chapter 4. Chapter 3. I'm not going to go directly into chapter 4. I'm going to give everyone time to go over the slides for the bank workshop, but start reviewing these vocabulary words from the last 3 readings in chapter 3. That's one of the things I'm going to stress for today. So moving on from a little vocabulary review, I'd like to go back. Here it is. All right. I'd like to go to an activator question. Okay. Banking in the US. Now, those of you who were here for the fall semester, you might remember a similar activity, but I still want to use the same activator question because it's great when we have an international community. My question for everybody is, how is banking in the US similar or different to banking where you have lived before? Many of you have lived in different countries, multiple countries. How is banking the same, or how is banking different? Banking meaning opening up a bank account, setting up savings, getting money from the ATM, transferring money on your phone, whatever the service may be. How is it similar or different in the US to other places you've lived? Take a minute, and then I want to hear from at least 2 people that we haven't heard from before. I want to give more people a chance to speak. So take a minute, and then when you're ready, just give me the hand raising emoji. So no rush, no rush. Once you're ready, just give me the hand raising emoji. Okay, Perla, let's hear it. How is banking similar or different to another country you've lived in?
To compare it with my country is pretty similar. We can do transfer or send money to the other people. And you can get app in your phone too. Use debit card. It's pretty similar here in my country.
Now, when you say your country, please remind everybody where you're from.
I'm from the Dominican Republic.
Great, great, great. So mobile banking, debit cards, very similar services to the US. All right. Would anybody else like to share?
Me, teacher.
Absolutely.
In Brazil, it's very similar here. I think the difference is the bank breaks in Brazil are bigger. We can't do the check deposit using foro in Brazil. We need to go to the bank and do the check deposit.
Really? You have to physically walk to the bank
Yes.
to do the deposit. Okay, that's a great distinction. Wow. All right. Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to continue with this after the break. It's time for our break, but I have a question. I'm going to put it in the chat. Who can identify this acronym? All right, everybody take a look in the chat and then find the answer when we come back. So I've put a message for everyone in the chat. Now it's time to take a break. Okay, everybody, 10 minutes. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, start again, please, Natalia.
Oh, in my country, Peru, is similar. The difference is the money. Use the coin soles, no dollar.
No paper money.
Yeah.
You know, that used to be the case here in the US. It took a long time for the US to adopt paper money. A lot of the American leadership in the 19th century really was against paper money. Anybody want to know why?
So in my country, teacher is very different because
Sure.
because in my country I don't have debit card.
Well, hang on a second. Remember, I will hold that thought, Cleomaine. Anybody want to know? Whoops. Why the U.S.
You hear me, teacher?
I can hear you. I said, hang on one second. Hang on one second, Cleomaine. Paper money. Why would a country not use paper money? The U.S. used to be a country that only used coins.
Natalie, you.
Yeah, Natalia said in Peru, people don't use paper money, they use coins. Why, what would be a reason for that?
Teacher,
Yes.
you don't understand. I
Okay,
say,
tell me.
I say, it's different in my country because I different money use coin and paper.
Oh, well, that's exactly the same.
Yeah, only different is soles, no dollars, no dollars.
Oh, you're just saying the different currency.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, current ENCY. Sorry, excuse me. ENCY. Okay, currency. All right. So you're just saying the currency has a different name. Okay, that's a valid difference. Cleomaine, go for it. You said, and tell us about, and remind, when you introduce your country, remind everybody where you're from.
Anna, please. Anna.
That's what, Cleomaine, I just asked you to share, please. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
your turn, Cleomaine, go for it.
Where? I need. You go for me, I need.
It's okay. It sounds like there's a lot going on with Cleomaine. We'll get back to Cleomaine later. All right. Anybody else? Actually, Marie, when was the last time you were in Haiti?
The last time?
Yeah.
I don't know the question. Can you repeat for me, please?
When was the last time you were in Haiti?
Since June
Okay.
2021.
All right. Now, maybe, okay, here, Cleomaine is back. Okay, Cleomaine, yes, tell us everything. You're talking about debit cards?
It's
All right. Okay, can you, Marie, can you identify some differences in banking in the US versus Haiti?
excuse me.
Yeah, teacher.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Hang on one second. Yeah, go for it, Marie.
Cleoman said, what did you say, Cleoman?
Okay, yeah, Cleomaine, go for it.
When did you check on ça?
Oh,
I
in
I buy with baby cat. You buy comme ça.
You said that in English? Try to say that in English.
Yeah, please, Cleomaine. I think we know what you mean.
He said there is no debit card in Haiti. I don't think so because they pay me with a debit card. I can use
Okay.
to buy, to do whatever I need or I want to buy with.
And it's a Haitian bank?
When you go open account, we give 1% here for account.
No,
I don't have debit card.
in the past. Now there is ATM. Oh, you don't know.
Cleomaine, when was the last time you were in Haiti?
8 years. 8 years. I doesn't go there.
8 years ago. Okay, so Marie was talking about 2020. So now there are debit cards.
I don't know.
Okay. Surprise.
There is a debit card. There is a credit card.
Oh, okay, but when I go open account, I don't have debit card there.
How long ago was that, Cleomaine?
Oh, come on, 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Okay, so a lot can happen in 10 years. Okay, a lot can change in 10 years. Yeah. All right, that's interesting.
Okay.
Very nice. Now, who can identify the question? Who can identify the question that I put in the chat? The question I put in the chat was the acronym FDNF. What does that mean? FDIC.
Teacher,
Yes, Natalia.
oh, I looking more a lot term about the acronyms. Oh, say benefits for this insurance company.
All right, now I'm asking everybody to identify what it means. What is the F and what is the D? What is the I? What is the C? And if you look at my background, you can see it.
Federal Deposit Insurance
Right. Federal Deposit Insurance Company. Yes. Yep. And there's a year that it was established. There's, I believe it's 1933. So in the US, banks, most banks are FDIC insured. So that was not always the case. Take a look right here. I'm going to show you a quick video about what the FDIC is and how it operates. Okay, Marina, Cleoman, I'm muting you on purpose. Stay muted. Okay.
Teacher, just a minute. Federal Deposit Insurance, what little C? Company.
Teacher, I have one question for Mary.
Yeah.
Because he said me, I have debit card in Haiti because I know how debit card.
Well, you said you haven't been there in 10 years.
Yeah.
Or 8 years.
Because this system they are Haiti, no digital. Because no debit card. When you go in the bank, always you take the field. No have debit card, you check ATM. No, he doesn't have ATM for debit card.
She was there 2 years ago. You said you haven't been there for a long time. Clear, man. Things change.
No, teacher, because I know, because always I talk with family there.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move on. You can message Marie anytime you like. We're gonna move on for the rest of the class, okay?
Thank you, teacher.
All right. Now, so here is a little video about the FDIC. And what I'd like everybody to do is practice some note-taking skills. Identify what the FDIC is and how it works, okay? So it's only about 3 minutes. Get a notebook, or you could use your phone, whatever you want. Identify what is the FDIC and how it works. Everybody, let me know when you're ready. Okay. 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 Here we go. The FDIC.
There are few ironclad guarantees in life, but here's one. Federal Deposit Insurance. Americans have counted on it since 1934. In those days, the insured deposit limit was just $2,500. Today, it's 100 times that. But the promise is the same. Whenever you put money into FDIC insured deposit accounts and stay within coverage limits, that money is 100% protected, no matter what happens to the bank or the economy. That's some guarantee to keep for more than 75 years. Here's how the FDIC is able to do it. Deposit insurance is exactly that, insurance. But unlike an auto or home policy, the consumer doesn't pay the premiums. Banks and savings institutions do. The FDIC is funded by the banking industry, not taxpayer money. The premiums go into the Deposit Insurance Fund. And as with any insurance, the higher the risk, the higher the premium. But what happens in times when bank failures are high and the fund is frequently tapped to protect depositors? There have been times when the fund has had a negative balance, even when it had abundant resources. This is because the FDIC is required to set aside a contingent reserve for probable failures over the next 12 months. The higher the projected failures, the greater that reserve must be. Since the FDIC is not allowed to offset that cost by future income, the net result on paper is a negative fund balance, even though total resources are positive. But whatever the fund balance, it does not affect the FDIC's ability to protect depositors when banks fail. The FDIC has access to considerable cash from many sources. Besides the money currently in the Deposit Insurance Fund, the FDIC receives quarterly premiums from the banking industry. It can also assess banks special fees and require them to pay premiums in advance. Then there are the unsold assets from failed banks. As these are sold, the proceeds are converted to cash. In 2009, the FDIC collected $10.2 billion in regular assessment revenues, plus another $5.6 billion in a special assessment. And at the end of the year, it required insured institutions to prepay 3 years' worth of insurance premiums. That raised another $46 billion. Based on current projections, the amount on hand will be more than sufficient to handle bank failures from the financial crisis that began in 2008. The FDIC is committed to doing everything possible to be solely funded by the banking industry and would only seek public funds as a last resort.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. There was a lot of tricky vocab words, but I think you can infer using the visuals. Who could tell me, we know what it means, Federal Deposit Insurance Company, but what essentially is their function? Because we saw right about here early in the video, they showed this picture of people waiting. Yeah, here it is. So 1934. There's a line right here. What's going on in this line? It's 1934.
I forgot the word.
Mhm.
Sorry, I forgot.
Because
Leslie, I think you got it.
the deposit is not to hide the $2,500. They have to take out the line for make the deposit.
What was happening in 1934?
Recession time.
Recession, different word. It's related. Depression.
Yes.
Depression. It's funny. I think it's when it was really enacted in 1934. The company is slightly older than that. I think it really came into effect in 1934, but it was created under the FDR administration in 1933. So one thing that would happen in this country in the 1930s is this. People would put their money in a bank. If you put your money in a bank, what is it that you want to happen? So if the bank has your money, you essentially, what's the point of putting your money in a bank? Why not just lock it up in your own house?
For saving money and for growing the money.
Growing the money. What's a word? This is going to come up in the banking workshop soon. What's a word for growing your money?
Economy.
I'm writing on the left side of the screen.
Investment.
Interest. So you want to put your money somewhere that's going to build interest, right? So at the end of the year, you know, if you put all your savings, it's going to be a little bit more than what you gave them. How does a bank give you more money than what you gave them?
Because they use our money
Yes.
to invest. They invest our money, and they can to pay fee. I don't know, it's fee for us.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Tavares, what are you going to say?
No, I think so. The fees.
Well, it's the fees are one way, but that's not. They're not going to stay in business by just charging people fees. Although sometimes it seems like they try to. This is how banks make money. Your money is in many places at the same time. Your money lives like a double, triple life. Let's say I have I don't know, I'm going to think of a big amount of money. Tavares, you want to build interest on your savings. You and your family put together, say, $20,000, and you put it in the bank.
Yep.
Now, that bank is going to do a lot of different things with it.
Yep.
So if Tavares puts $20,000 in the bank, that $20,000 can go to a lot of places. Perla wants to buy a car. So she takes out a loan for the same amount of money. She'll pay off that loan every month. So the bank will take this $20,000 and give it to Perla to go buy a car. But Perla has to pay back the money to the bank with interest. So every month, Perla is maybe paying, $400, $500, $600, whatever the premiums are with that loan over 4 or 5 years. So that money is in two places at the same time. When Tavares is looking at his bank balance, he's going to see the $20,000 he put in the savings account, but the bank will have it in multiple places. The bank will also have that $20,000 given to Perla, and Perla will be paying back with interest. That $20,000 could also be given to part of a home loan to Gaussian. Some of it might be given as a business loan to Handy. A lot of different things can be happening with the money at exactly the same time. So if Tavares puts his money in the bank is going to be lending money to other people at exactly the same time, to Perla, to Handy, to everybody. And when everyone is paying back with interest, the bank is gaining profits. That's how in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, they can pay back Tavares interest. That's how Tavares can make a little money too.
Teacher.
So
Question.
Yeah.
When Tavares wants his money back, and it's not the time for I pay the loan, everything, how the bank do it? They take the other people money and pay back to.
I'm so glad you asked. Well, that's going to be okay. The bank is going to be fine as long as they have a lot more money from everybody else. If Marie's put her money in there and Cleomaine has put his money in there, when Tavares wants that cash, he can go and get his cash. But there's another problem. What if everybody goes to the bank at the same time to get their cash.
I think so. That's donde F the
What's behind me? Yeah.
is they interview because they is insured.
Insurance, yes.
Or the bank is closed or this case.
Exactly. So it's federally funded insurance where it's federal insurance. Essentially, when the FDIC is insuring that bank, that means if something happens to that bank, there's a problem with the economy, or maybe there's just like what you're describing, Perla, everybody decides to go get their money at the same time. Get your money out of the bank right now. That's essentially what's happened in Russia, because the ruble, their money is worth nothing now. So everybody's like, get your money out, turn it into dollars, turn it into renminbi, whatever, buy a car because it's going to be worth more money than keeping your money in the bank. If something bad happens, there's an insurance policy that guarantees that your money's still going to be there. That was not always the case. And I'm going to show you now a little video from the series America's Story of Us, of what was happening in the 1930s when there was no bank insurance for banks. Imagine if there's no guarantee you're going to get your money back. What happens if you put all your money in the bank and then you come and get it and the bank says, sorry?
That happened one time in my country, few years.
It happened here too. I'm going to show everybody what it looked like when it happened in this country. Okay, so this is America's Story of Us. And I'm going to show everybody, I'm going to stop recording because sometimes YouTube will get me for copyright issues. So I'm going to stop recording on this part. This is from the History Channel. I'm just going to briefly pause the recording.
Government,
Mhm.
The government takes the savings, the people in the
Mhm.
bank for them,
Right.
because the inflation, I don't know how to
Yes.
say, was too high, and my brother had money to buy a house in the bank,
Yeah.
and he never goes the money again, took the money again. The government took the money.
Was there any policy in place to protect him so he could get his money back?
No,
Hmm.
because the government made the law that they took the money of all people that had money in savings.
Oh, wow. So the government
Yes.
could take savings of people when they wanted.
Yes.
The government here does that sometimes. They could freeze your assets. For instance, if you don't pay taxes, the government will go into your savings account and take your money back taxes. They'll do that. But the situation you're describing, where everybody who had money in savings account, the government took, did they just take a small amount, or did they take everything?
No small amount. 40,000 reals and more.
Wow, that's rough. That's really rough. Now, I'm going to share my screen right here. Everybody, what I'd like you to do before Wednesday, I'm not posting this as a homework assignment, but before the banking workshop begins, I'd like everybody to take a look at Google Classroom and you see some PowerPoint slides. And I've directed everyone particularly to these slides, slides 13 and slides 27. So when you open up this document, it'll look like this. And then you'll see, you can click Google Slides. PowerPoint will turn to Google. Slides 13, slide 13 talks about the services provided by a bank. And these phrases I think are most important. These services. And 27, there it is. Types of savings, the 13 and 27, different types of savings. I think everyone should become familiar with. So I'm gonna finish up class by making 2 breakout rooms. And I'm gonna ask everybody to minimize the Zoom screen and take a look in Google Classroom to open up the slides. So once everyone has got their slides open, let me know. And then we can finish up with a quick breakout room. So minimize the screen on Zoom and open up this slide right here. Open up Google Classroom. So let me know when you've opened up Google Classroom. Marie, to minimize your screen, you want to go to the minus sign to minimize your screen.
Yes, I did it.
Oh, great, fantastic.
But I didn't
Excellent.
get the Google Classroom.
Okay, that's in your Google Drive.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, teacher.
Great. Okay. Andy, I know you're still on your phone, so it's a little harder for you. Handy, you're getting has your computer arrived yet?
Not yet.
But it's on the way, right?
Yes.
Great, great. Okay. All right. So I'm going to open up breakout rooms now. Breakout room 1, I'm going to ask to go to, I'm going to write it on the screen right now. For breakout room 1, look at slide 13. Breakout room 2, look at slide 27. Slide 13 focuses on services of the bank. Slide 27 focuses on types of savings account. So services of the bank and types of savings.
It's 13 and what else?
13 and 27. So breakout room 1, slide 13. Breakout room 2, 27. I don't need to write the whole word. Okay. I'm going to put everyone in breakout rooms right now. Recreating 2 rooms. Here we go. Okay, here we go.